I love that new little addition Zoom's done. Well, welcome to our Tuesday night inside the Trader's Mind call. I'm just admitting all the stragglers. Zach and Rok, if you're there, please holler at me. All right, guys. All right. Okay. There he is. Pin, and then Zach McDonald. Mike is having a lot of issues and he's not that well. That's okay. All right, guys. I'm really excited for tonight's call. We have got two phenomenal educators from the Trade House on our call tonight. So it's going to be the Zach and Rok show, which I am really excited about. So I appreciate you all being early and getting on this call. Zach and Rok, unmute yourselves so I know you're there and you guys are ready to roll.
Yo.
Hello.
What's good?
Hey. Rok, some streaming issues, hey? Oh, I can't hear you.
What about now?
Yes, gotcha. Perfect.
All right, cool. Yeah, apparently I broke the entire Go Live platform with like wanting to stream. No, I'm joking. The streaming servers are down.
Yeah.
So we are on the wait for that, but
beautiful. Yeah, I was doing a trading overview call and wanted to use your session as an example and you stitched me up. And I was like, awesome, looks really good for everyone. Our platform doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That sucks.
Thanks, Yomi. Well, guys, I'm not going to introduce, actually. I'm going to get these two stellar gentlemen to introduce themselves. I will give a brief intro. So Zach McDonald, myself, and a couple of others are actually the first couple of founders of the whole Trade House Australia thing back in 2016. So we've been in the trenches for a very, very, very long time. Zach actually flew over to the States, met all the Trade House guys, shown us all it was legit. They gave him a bit of homework to study and here we are. That's basically that in a nutshell. But Zach, give us a bit of a spiel, little minute intro. Who the hell are you? And why did you start trading?
Yeah, cool. So guys, what's up? I'm in Victoria in Australia. I don't know where everyone else is from. What's up, Rok? Good to see you. But yeah, guys, I started out, typical situation to, I'd say, a lot of other people, some probably on this call right now. I was working the 9 to 5, overworked, underpaid, typical situation. For me, best way to put it is always knew I wanted more. I always knew I was built for something different, but I never knew what it was and I never knew how to get there. And when I started surrounding myself with, different people, I guess people that were motivated, people that wanted more, that's when I started to, understand that there is a lot more out there, aside from, slaving away 9 to 5, doing university, going to trade school, doing whatever it is in order to get from where you are to, where you want to be. And that was pretty much it. I didn't need too much, motivation on that side of things. I just wanted it bad enough to just pretty much just keep cracking away at it. When I got started back in 2016, I started out in crypto and then I was introduced to IM shortly after. And that was when I was able to learn, obviously margin trading as well, which is really, really cool. SJ's right. I flew out to see Mike, Jordan, Christian Vargas as well. And, that was a massive experience for me. It was a massive game changer. And from there, that's when I was able to, I guess, not learn the concepts that I implement today, but I was able to get so much understanding, so much, I guess, context and appreciation for, the trade house itself. The guys didn't even meet me. Mike had never spoken to me. Jordan Morgan had never spoken to me. The only person that I'd spoken to in the trade house prior to was Christian Vargas. And we literally had, maybe a 10-minute chat. over the phone, and you just, go and text each other, pretty much, for a couple of days. And then they opened their home up to me. They let me stay there, for the couple of weeks that I was there, which is, that says a lot about someone. It says a lot about, a group of people, for me anyway. So yeah, I was able to, have that, that built a lot of, I guess, relationships there. The foundation was there. Came back to Australia. That's when I, shortly after, I was able to quit my job, back in, 2017, started doing this full time, and then started educating from 2019, I think, until we
I
are.
think it was earlier than that.
I was educating crypto in 2018.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing. Rok. So both of your sessions, Zach and Rok, are two of the biggest sessions I edify to everyone to plug into. So Rok, tell us a bit about, share with everyone on here watches you, whether you know that or not.
Awesome.
You're in Trade House Australia, so let's get acquainted.
All right, so pretty much as you maybe already recognize, like from the intro on the stream, coming from Slovenia, which is a small country near Italy, and the mentality over here is pretty much that you go to the primary school, right? You finish, you of course depends on how the people or how the parents raising you, right? They're having some expectations how you're gonna be doing good with the grades and all that, right? Always trying to be like a golden average. And like after the primary school, you go to secondary school where you already pick a major that what you're gonna be doing till the rest of your life, and then of course college and all that, and then pretty much get to job, right? And that's the system and that's the culture that I was being raised into. But more or less when we were of course adopting the internet and all that, right, there was a burning desire inside of me to travel around the globe, right, experiencing that a dream destination, to go a dreamland into America, right, see what is all the hype about. And that got me to the point of in the middle school I was starting to really search for the incomes that I can do that are not, let's say, related with 9 to 5, right? Pretty much something that I can do all day in the internet, right? Now, and the majority of the time in the beginning was sports bet, like soccer, volleyball, right, and all that. And we had like a mild success with that with the team and with the friends that we were doing all that together. But then the biggest breakthrough or the biggest, let's say, shift in my life happened in 2014. I think it was around this time, in June, July. I ended up breaking up with my ex-girlfriend, right? And like a week later, there was a friend that I haven't heard about like 7 months. He asked me like, let's go to the coffee. I have something really better than sports bet. We can do a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. And it was actually the binary options, right? And he was showing us like pretty much a web page. You put like, you have 2 buttons and we didn't even know what that buttons meant or anything, but he just heard from somebody on the internet that you can potentially do a lot of money doing that, right? And I said, all right, let's give it a try. We throw in each 150 euros, which is probably like around 230 Australian, something like that. And we blew that account in 5 days because of course we didn't know what we were doing. And then we said like, all right, now we know, right, how this looks like. We have a little bit of feeling what we should be doing. Let's try another one. And we blew that account in like 2 days because we had like a smarty pants on, right? And we were too smart. We were too smart for the smart money. But what happened is that in July, he didn't want to pursue that route, right, to find a proper knowledge and all that. But I was starting to figure it out, like, okay, there has to be someone that knows more about this stuff, right? And short after, when I was going to the college in September, I was on Facebook searching for people that know something about like trading and all that. Guess who popped up? Zachary Hogan, right? And Zach was having a trading at a time, which was the, let's say, the closed group on the Facebook, which they had like 3 people, Zach, Stefan, and Eddie. And they were actually teaching people how to do proper way trading, with binary, and then later on they shift to the forex. And those were my initial, the first mentors, when they show me the charts, like how the charts really looks like. And when I saw the charts, I was literally like a little kid when you put a lollipop into their hands, like those puppy eyes and all that. I said, all right, this is it. Like this is my dreams, right? This makes my heart pump. So after that, I find out the benefits of doing the forex, where you have more freedom about like how much you make, right? You have more freedom with making decisions, and of course being more uh, pretty much like you have everything in your hands, right? When it comes to trading and all that. So that's when I shift to the forex, and pretty much from that point, I was sticking with Zach, right? And later on in 2016, we came under the trade house to the IM, which was at the time was IML, and that's where they put me the spot on the Go Live with the Sandy at the time, because Sandy was one of the guy that was also wanting to learn all this, right? Now, um, really, let's say if we put this story in a little bit a short conclusion, it's pretty much ever since, right? I was educating people to do better, and of course to be in a position that they understand the market, that they need to understand the market. So they are like self-reliant, self-sufficient trader, and they're not, let's say, being influenced from other people's opinion or other system or other, let's say, AIs or robots and expert advisors. I tried everything, right? But at the end of the day, it it's more or less like a little bit of shortcuts that you can, let's say, do certain amount of profit and all that, but it's not sustainable. Because the thing is, when you're having a shortcuts, when you have, let's say, different situations and different stuff on the charts, it might help you to be in a position to have a proper trade and all that. What happened is like your mindset and you as a trader, your emotional intelligence is not really like challenged, and it's not growing the way it should, right? And even if you have the robot, if it makes profit, there's going to be a season that that robot's not going to work out, right? Um, and it could be potentially like blowing their entire account. But the thing is, pretty much my vision is to simplify the complex thing, right? Forex can be really complex. Forex can be really difficult environment for somebody, and I really wanted to like show them that it's not nothing to be fear about, right? And I was always trying to be a student of this game, and still I am. I believe that I'm just literally scratching the surface when it comes to the trading and experiencing the abundance of market in general, right? So pretty much this is my vision when it comes to the streaming and all that. That's why I'm serving people with the streaming all day, pretty much multiple times throughout the day and throughout the week, right? Because this makes me my life fulfillment. That's pretty much what it is, right?
I love that. I can relate 100%. I don't know, for those who don't know, before I started my trading journey in 2015, and it was through an AI, it was through a bot, and I lost 15 grand to an auto trader. And I didn't like, even though like that sucked big time, the lesson that I learned in that is if I actually just learned the power of the skill set, then this is never going to happen for me again. And so, I went the AI route because honestly, I was too lazy. I had every excuse under the sun. Like I was too busy, to this, to that, to that. If I just put my money in this, it's going to work for me. I'll still be making money. Third party owned company, fell off the face of the planet along with my money. And so that taught me the true value of learning this skill set. Exactly like Rok said, that's something that no one can take from you. Something that you just ended on then kind of merges into the next thing I wanted to ask both of you guys. Who did you need to become to be the trader you are today? And I think this is a really important question, guys, because it works around that whole model of have, do, be, do, have, and that people operate from the living space of when I have this, I'll be able to do this, I'll be able to be this, right? But what are we, guys? We're human beings. We actually need to live and operate from the be, do, have. So if we want all these external things, we need to start with who am I being first? Who am I being to do the things I want to do, to have the things I want? But the majority of the population work from the opposite. They work from when I have more time, I'll do it. When I have more money, I'll do it. When I have more this, I'll do it. guys, that's not how this whole thing works. Okay. And Rok just said then, he is a student. And I know for me, like, even though I'm going into my 6th year, I'm still a student. And the one thing that I really love about the Trade House guys is that they all get on streams together. They all collaborate. And I think that's really important. They all watch each other's sessions. You're never too big. And I think that's a really important thing. So I'll start with Rok because I think Zach's, I'm not sure if Zach's there. I think he is. But anyway, Rok, who did you have to become? Oh, there he is. To be the trader that you are now from when you started? Because obviously who you were then is not who you are now.
Pretty much, Forex is, or trading in general, is pretty much a real school of life. This is how I'm saying, and I'm glad that you asked this question, because this is something that I didn't heard for a while now. Is that, for example, how you do anything is how you do everything, right? This is the first thing. And then when we are having a complex thing in front of us, right, we cannot solve challenges with the same mindset that we create a challenge in the first place, right? So what helped me in the beginning when it comes to the trading, I was always asking myself, okay, what would Zach do in this situation? Right? Because Zach was then my mentor. Zach was a role model to me. Zach had what I want to have, right? And then of course, because what happened is when I was trying to figure out, like, okay, how would Zach think in this situation? What I was doing, I was conditioning my mind to be a different person. I was being somebody else, because now my brain started to function on a different frequency. I was trying to role play somebody else to do my challenge. And with that, I pretty much raised my awareness and bringing a completely different angle with solving that challenge. And exactly the same thing is applied with the trading. Like, I was always trying to figure out, okay, how would Zach deal with this situation? How would Zach try to figure out how to get out of the right numbers and be again, like, back on the hot streak, right? What would then, of course, what would Zach do? And always was the same answer, sticking back to the basics, like going back to the basics, right? Um, so it's pretty much like what helped me and who I had to become is pretty much I had to develop the mindset of people that have what I want to have, right? So for example, if we have, let's say we want to do a building site, or we want to be a chairman, can you start thinking as a chairman thinks, right? Pick your chairman, right, in the company and start thinking how would he deal with the situation that where you currently at, right? And then of course the action part, when you take the actions and start doing that. And when it comes to the trading, it's pretty much like creating that systematic approach. Because why I believe in the systematic approach, or pretty much like how the programs of the computer works, if this is that, and if this is not that, is this, this is this, because then you have pretty much the roadmap, how you're going to deal with something that definitely is involved with money. And whatever is involved with money, we have been conditioned from the first day we came into this planet Earth that money triggers that emotion response inside of us. Usually is fear of missing out, usually is a fear of not being able to live or not having the security about financial and all that. And then what happens? You are running from the fiercity, right? Fear mindset. And that's not the problem solving mindset in the beginning. So when you have the systematic approach, you eliminate that emotion involved with solving that challenge. And when you are systematic to something like really complex, you can break it down to the smaller task, what you can do right now, what you can do next hour, what you can do the next day, in order to pretty much overgrown that challenge in a week or a month or in a year, right? And then taking that small ports of actions throughout the day to then become next level person, right? And then looking back a year or 2 years or 3 years, you're going to see how much you've grown, just because you took that systematic approach to the challenges, to the bigger challenges, right? So that's pretty much like how I overgrown things.
Love that so much. And I love that you said you had to think and be like someone else, because I've been reading and listening to a lot of David Goggins, and Whenever I'm like struggling to do something, I'm like, okay, what would Goggins do? If I'm like out for a walk and it's cold, I'm like, fucking Goggins wouldn't be cold right now. Like, what would he be doing?
Yeah.
He would just go inside and put some warmer clothes on. Oh, I love that. Zach, I want to know, who did you have to become to be the trader you are today?
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I guess, like what Rok said as well, it's a good question. And it's probably something that that I would have loved to have asked, the people that I was learning from, like Jordan as well. Back when I was obviously, studying and, trying to, get the grips of it all. But for me at the start, one of the biggest things, and I think, most of you guys already know it, it's just getting my money mindset right. Like me, obtaining money was simple, given the avenues that I was in, but spending it was, it was too easy. I had the worst financial thermostat and the mindset around money that as soon as I'd get something in, it would go out. And it was like that even when I was working a job. I'd get my paycheck every week, gone by before I got paid again. And I was always just going in that vicious cycle. And I had no idea what I was spending my money on. It was on nothing, nothing worth really spending on it at all. And when I started trading, I'd, even if I was, winning a couple of trades or winning some trades or, being relatively decent at what I was doing, I would always self-sabotage it and, fuck it up. I'd enter off of FOMO, like what Rok was saying. I'd enter too early. I wouldn't enter based off of my own confirmations, off of confluence. I'd enter because someone else said in a WhatsApp group that they were going to enter, or a Telegram group that they were going to enter, even though it's nothing, it wasn't even a pair I was trading. For me, it was getting my mindset around money right. And that was the biggest thing. It was the, like 100%, hands down, the biggest thing. I think the next biggest thing was just to segue into like the WhatsApps and the Telegrams and everything. It was to stop comparing myself. There were so many people that you were, and I don't know if like anyone here can relate, but you get into these Discords and the WhatsApps and the Telegrams and, the other groups, and it's very, very easy to get caught up in what other people are doing. It's very easy to get, sidetracked as to, like SJ is doing so well. I wish I was just like, I wish I was just like her, not to take anything away what she was saying with obviously, who do I have to be like? But it's very, very easy to compare yourself and get lost in, getting sidetracked with that one thing. I was always comparing myself to other people. I've been doing it since I was a little kid. Guys, when I was, when I was growing up, I think I've said this story a couple of times to people, but, when I was growing up, 10, 11, 12, 13, I remember like quite vividly times where I would wish I was a different race. I would wish I was taller. I'd wish I was, I'd wish I was Asian. I'd wish I was black, because I feel like, that they had it better. I feel like they had it easier. I feel like they'd make better friends. I feel like, they were more secure. I feel like, they were smarter. Either way, I was comparing myself and, and trying to change who I was, to impress everyone else around me. So many different things. But comparing myself, one of the biggest things, how I stopped that, is obviously working on myself, self-love, not to go down the road of sounding cliche or anything. But 100%, it was being able to understand, I am me, no one else gets to be me every day. I wake up and I'm the only person that can do that, so let's do it the fucking best. And I feel like that was, yeah, for me, I think the biggest thing. I saw Retender put something in the chat. Let me go ahead and read that. What was it?
He wants to know, how do you get your financial thermostat right? I mentioned we've got a recording on YouTube about that, but for you, I know you're probably going to recommend a book, because I know you recommended the same book to me.
Yeah, I'd say, one of the books is 4 Laws of Financial Prosperity by Blaine Harris. It's a great book.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say I could take away about 90% of that. Sorry, what was that?
Secrets of a Millionaire Mind.
Secrets of the Millionaire Mind in Turbulent Times by T. Harv Eker. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. One's just an update back in 2008, 2009 after the GFC. And Speedwealth, anything by T. Harv Eker is honestly, pretty cool. Wayne Dyer as well.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, in our years of friendship, that's probably my favorite thing that you've given me was T. Harv Eker books. Funnily enough. Guys, got to remember, what do you guys get paid to do in trading, in business even? We need to remember that you literally get paid to personally develop. I get paid to be the best version of myself, because in trading, even in business, your success is never going to exceed your level of personal development, ever. Okay, so my job is literally to be the best version of myself. So in my answer to who do you need to become, I needed to become a more authentic version of myself, a more truer version of myself. And that's how I've been able to build a business worldwide, by sharing struggles, by being vulnerable, by being a fucking human, by being authentic, by evolving. Okay, and evolving is painful, guys. It is. When you start shedding your shit, when you start owning your shit, right? And becoming a better version of yourself, it requires time. It requires a lot of energy. It requires humility, right? And the reason why, Zach and Rok and myself and Mike and whoever that you look up to that has had the successes that you've had, my success is minute compared to my mentors, right? But it's becoming the student. You have to become a student of those who are where you want to be. You have to listen to those who have achieved what you're trying to achieve. I didn't listen to Auntie Sally or Uncle John or my broke besties because I understood this. You don't take advice from someone you wouldn't trade places with. Period. So have a think about, your best self is who you are when you don't have to pretend to be anything else, guys. And then just develop that. Pretty plain and simple. So guys, I want to roll into a question because I know a lot of our students are in a rut. So, Rok, advice for a struggling trader who's, a year in, 6 months in, what do you got?
First of all, again, back to systematic approach, right? We have the bounce back bootcamp. We have, of course, the beginners academy inside of the, of course, inside of the academy. Then we have a lot of favorite sessions. You have to study those. You have to study those as your life depends on it, because it does, right? It does. And pretty much what you have to then understand is that those are the basics. After that, it's pretty much the action that needs to be required. Now, for me to start to really have, let's say, semi-professional or semi-disciplined results, it took me over 3 years to develop all that, because I had to learn so much about myself, how I operate when it comes to the money, just like Zach said, like financial thermostat, right? And then I agree with CJ, like owning your own shit. Like, yes, we're gonna do mistakes, right? We're gonna have, of course, the impulse decision. You're gonna jump into the marketplace because you're gonna be afraid that you're gonna miss the next 100 pip move. It's gonna happen. Sometimes you're gonna win. Sometimes it's gonna be a loss. But the biggest thing what can happen is over here that when you're winning such a trades, you start to be comfortable with that trade. You're going to be searching for that trade. So you're going to be creating a habit of jumping in the marketplace because of the FOMO. FOMO is going to be that driving force for you. So pretty much what you need to have, of course, is evaluation, how good you are as a trader, and how much of a trading decision that you're doing based on your emotions, how you feel about the marketplace. Not how the market looks like, but how you feel about the marketplace. Right? And then the biggest breakthrough that I have is, of course, the industry right now and the social media. They brought this Forex industry and in this crypto with shitcoins and all that to the pretty much to such an extreme that now doing 1 to 10 is like really like low risk to reward that you can get out of the trade, which is not true. Because now I have people that are doing the lower time frame trading. They're good at it, But the problem why they're not profitable is because they're always trying to get that home run to that 1 to 30, 1 to 40 risk reward all the time.
Mm.
Right? And what happened is that they're keeping their stop loss open, they're putting their risk on the table, right? They're literally like 10, 15% in profit, but they're not even moving stop loss to break even and end up having those trades being a loss. That should not happen. That should not happen. Because I know that, like, for example, if you would have right now, with the mindset, with the emotional intelligence that you have right now, with the financial thermostat that you have right now, if you would have a $10 million account, and if you would have a 15% growth in your account in literally a span of hours, would you close that trade? 99.9% of people right now would say yes, right? So that's the thing. People start to trade lower time frame because they're eager to get results. They're eager to grow their account because they think that if they're gonna do certain things, if they're gonna be rushing into the lower time frame, they're gonna be faster in a position that they can be, let's say, quitting their 9 to 5. Yeah, it's fine and it's cool. I understand that mindset. The problem is that this is a development needing process. Like, you need to develop to be a professional trader. Now, for me, the biggest breakthrough was when I discovered that I was doing exactly the same thing. I was going for that 1 to 10 constantly. Now, I was smart enough to put my stop loss to break even when market was going to 2%, 3% in profit, 4% in profit. I moved my stop loss to break even. But there was no consistency. So what I did, I really took a time, like a week time, just for me behind a computer, and I evaluate 100 trades that I did in the past. Last 100 trades that I did. What was on the table when it comes to the profit? When I closed the trade, where was my take profit? Why in that level, right? And that's where I discovered a 1 to 3 and 1 to 5 risk to reward trade. Works wonderful. It works magnificent. Why? Because when you're consistently doing 1 to 3 and 1 to 5 risk to reward trade, going in the lower time frame, it can be done in a few minutes. Going into the hourly time frame, it can be done in a day, right? But what happened is that when you have, let's say, a targets that are realistic, targets that are going to be probably vast majority of the time hit, 80% of the time, right? If you have a quality trades, the compounding effect is going to be the effect that is going to be giving you a position that you're going to be able to quit your job. But if you are struggling to have consistent risk to reward, what can happen is that you're not going to have that eight wonder of growing your account happening to you, right? Because you're always trying to flip your account with one trade, right? And when you're doing that, right, then when we're putting that in the position and flipping that around, you have to understand when, again, going back to the minds of having $10 million in your trading account, 3% and 5% trade can be 8% growth overall. And those 8%, you have to understand, you're out trading 70% of hedge funds on a yearly basis. Even if you did 1 to 3 and 1 to 5 in a 1 minute time frame, those 8% give you into a bracket of 30% of the best hedge funds worldwide, right? But because of the industry and because of the pressure that we have of the system that we're currently living in, we want to be the next millionaire tomorrow, right? And that's the mentality that is keeping a young trader struggling, because they see people win. They see people on the social media having an astronomous risk to reward, but they don't see 10 losses prior to that win. Majority of people, you already know, they're lying on social media. Everybody can do a demo trades and they put it on social media, right? But people get affected by it. And then again, that's when you come back to what Zach said, comparing yourself to somebody else's. You cannot do that because you never know how much time he spent behind studying the charts, right? Versus you being maybe a little bit lazy when it comes to studying the chart. But you want to have results of somebody else, but you don't have the work ethic for that results. And that reality then don't match, keeping you in a anxiety mode, right? So that was the biggest shift when it happened to me, is that when I figured that out, When I saw that angle, I was like, all right, this is where I need to focus on. And everything changed after that. Everything changed after that.
Okay.
Right. So that's pretty much it.
I took some notes to that, guys. So I hope you guys are taking notes as well. Thank you, Rok. Zach, advice for a trader in a rut struggling right now.
I could agree with like, I just sound like a broken record trying to repeat some of the stuff that Rok was saying, but there's a lot of that I can agree with, and just I'd say I'd reiterate it as well. But one of the things I'd say is like I guess that question is so open ended. Like how long is a piece of string? It's difficult to kind of categorize each person in a specific way. It's not like primary school or high school, like, oh, you failed because of this, you failed because of that. It's, you're on your own journey behind the computer screen on your own with no one there to keep you accountable. Like what Rok was going back at just before he finished was your work ethic. I truly believe, guys, that, how many people on this Zoom right now, 64, 65 people, that, majority, if not everyone, has what it takes to become, whoever or whatever they need to be or want to be within this markets. Okay. Without a word, without even a flicker of a doubt, I'd say, pretty much every single person has what it takes. Okay. Have the work ethic of someone that's, going at this and treating it like a business, not someone that's going at this, treating it like a hobby. Okay. 6 months in, you're not where you want to be. Like, I'm not going to be that guy that's going to be like, oh, poor you, build a bridge, need some concrete, go to Bunnings, get some concrete, harden up. Okay. This journey was not made for, for us to win. Okay. You guys already know that. It was made for us to lose. Okay. The markets that we endeavor in on a day-to-day basis was not made for us to succeed. You've got to remember that. Okay. And the most people that, that are sitting behind, their computers or their laptops in their bedrooms doing what we're doing, that are coming at this, obviously, that, don't seek this education, are losing. Most of them are. And it's not just, it's not just us, like that I'm in reference to. It's, it's people all over the world. Okay. Even bigger players, people playing around with larger amounts of money, people that I've spoken to, like the amount of brokers that I've spoken to over the last 4 years, incredible. The information, the bullshit and the deception and the lies that they'll fucking tell you, just to get you on as a client, that they've got EAs, expert advisors, and that they've got their winning streak. I've seen brokers that have live accounts that are not live accounts. Like what Rok was saying earlier, like you've got to be able to see through the BS. You've got to be able to see through the lies. You've got to be able to see through the crap. Jen has made it, an amazing point, 1 to 3, is absolutely fine. Don't compare yourself just because, someone's on, getting a 1 to 50 or a 1 to, 13 or whatever it is. It doesn't mean that you've got to be going for a 1 to 15 or a 1 to 30 or a 1 to 50 or 1 to 80. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay. Be happy with what you got. Start small, be conservative. Don't stop over leveraging your account. Like most of the time, well, not most of the time, I'm going to say, a large amount of time when someone will message me and, they're saying that, there's something going wrong. You're typically doing 3 things. You're either over leveraging, you're not basing your trades off of confluence, you're super disorganized, or you're just taking signals. Be more organized than the person, on the other side of the computer screen. Be more organized than me. Be more organized than SJ. Be more organized than Rok. Matt Rose has said it best to me, back in 2017, I think. Become insanely good at being organized. You've never met someone that's making 6 figures, 7 figures out of this, or even, chairman that is super disorganized. How organized can you be? How many journals, how many trades can you journal on a day-to-day basis? So, yeah, like, there's, again, how long is a piece of string? I don't know what you're specifically struggling with. whoever's listening to this. You know, there's a conglomerate of things. If you feel like you need to keep going through, you know, if you feel like you're not getting it, go through bounce back again. If you feel like you're not getting it, tune into the live sessions, be consistent, have a better and a greater work ethic than anyone that you can possibly think, you know, is out there. There's no limits, there's no limitations. Don't buy into the hype of, you know, I guess the only way I really put it, guys, is those Instagram traders. You know, we all see them, we all know who they are. You know, don't buy into the, you know, the every trade's a win. Okay, Rok's 100% right. You know, yes, we win trades, but how many do we lose? How many, you know, like how many trades have I taken? I was on the chart. Who was I was on a Zoom with yesterday? SJ, was it you and Nick?
Yeah.
You know, for me, like I can go through a chart, you know, pretty much like, you know, a naked chart, and, you know exactly what's happening, you know, specific price lines, you know, retracements, ICs, schematics, without really marking anything up. And the only reason I've been able to do that is because I've marked up thousands of charts and journaled, you know, obviously a lot as well. Okay, who's prepared to do it? Who's prepared to, you know, go through the sleepless nights? Who's prepared to take a week off and self-analyze? Do that, you know, that homework on yourself before, obviously, you know, being able to, you know, do the homework on the charts. Massive work ethic.
I fucking love everything that you both have just said. Guys, everything is hard until it's easy, yeah? Like, remember that. This is why so many people are actually horrible teachers, right? Because they simply forgot how it was when they were beginners, right? And people get arrogant instead of being humble, right? Here we've got some late stragglers. And, you know, guys, even when you were walking as a baby, that was hard. You had to learn it first, and then, you know, you can fucking run, right? But what, you know, something they both really brought home then was, you know, as much as you can not buy into, you know, don't buy into the BS on social media, also don't give into the bullshit that you tell yourself as well. Like, that's huge, okay? And there's this famous, I'm just going to go off tangent for a second. There's this Greek philosopher, and he wrote, I was just talking to my fiance about this, and I wanted to know what he meant about this, this quote, and this ties in so well with this, is it says how does it go? The least initial deviation from the truth is multiplied later 1,000-fold. Right, I'll write that in the chat. But I came across that yesterday, and I couldn't help thinking about how relevant this is to the discussion we're having literally right now. Like, I'm so glad this is all tied in. The thing that it brought up for me, so I'll say it again. The least initial deviation from the truth is multiplied later 1,000-fold. Think about what that means, guys. Because in this discussion that we're having right now, it basically is to, you know, stimulate self-reflection, right, of your behavior and thinking like a trader. And the reality for most people is we're not trained, right? We're not encouraged to do self-evaluations. Like, when was the last time you did a self-evaluation on yourself? I know in our business chat, we do it all the time. It's like, where am I on a scale of 1 to 10? 1, I'm fucking rat shit at this. 10, like, don't even talk to me. I'm better than Rok. Like, like where are you on the scale, right? And so self-assessment and self-awareness is so paramount for us wanting to achieve anything. And humans generally have this tendency to overestimate the knowledge that we have and the performance, and the performance that we, you know, produce, particularly if someone's been doing it a long period of time. And we become less accepting that we actually need to do the fucking work on ourselves, right? And perhaps you see the gaps in the education because you haven't been plugged in as much, right? But you guys really need to take that personal responsibility for the results that you have or don't have. And at the risk of, you know, I don't want to be overcritical right now, but this is what mentors are for, right? You don't come to us for hugs, okay, and little pats on the back. If you joined with the Trade House, you know it's because, you know, fair enough, come and have a vent or a whinge, like whatever it is that you need. But so I say, at the risk of appearing overcritical, don't take anything that we're saying right now other than an attempt to give you guys some good fucking honest soul food to tighten up your trading game. I want you guys to start being completely honest about where you are right now, right? See the gaps in what you're doing, right? And seeing those gaps and those holes that you can like chuck some putty in is going to be one of the most powerful things that you can do to contribute to your development as a trader. So, you know, a couple of questions, I have them in my phone actually. These are things that I ask myself all the time. So some self-assessment questions. Number one, do I find myself blaming others / the market for the results I am getting rather than owning my results? Think about that, guys. I'll say it again. Do I find myself blaming others / the market for the results I am getting rather than owning my results, right? And this is often the crucial step in action taking, which means that you won't, unless you ask that question, you're not going to know if you're taking full responsibility. Are you really having a bad day? Are you really feeling this? Are you really, you know, not getting that good results? Or is it all in here? So this is what I mean when I say don't also believe everything you tell yourself, because you will lie to yourself, right? So question 2, key one here, guys. I skipped over it. Where is it? Have I worked hard enough to complete the education I have access to 24/7? Ask yourself that, guys. And can I state with confidence that I know all the content covered? If you can't tell us on a Zoom call, boom, what's mitigation? What is this? What is that? You don't know it enough. Go back and study that. If you can't teach it, you don't know it, right? Question 3, do I have complete and comprehensive systems that guide and review my trading, including my trading plan and my journal review system? Key one, right? Question 4, have I tested the components of my trading plan against alternatives to make sure that I am making evidence-based decisions for all of my trading actions? Okay. Question 5, do I follow through with all aspects of my trading plan with every trade? 5 solid self-awareness questions that you need to seriously consider and ask yourself before you come to us and say, I'm in a rut. Well, this going on, I can't make this priority, trading sucks, blah, blah, blah. Like, put things in perspective, guys. Those 5 key questions is what takes my trading game to the next level every single time. Number 3 is, do I have a complete and comprehensive system that guides me and reviews my trading every single time? So my trading plan and journal review. I'll also tap them in the Discord, so don't stress. So that's your mission. Maybe that's your homework for this week, guys, is ask yourself these questions about where you are right now and see if there's any potential gaps that you do need to fill, right? And with the list that you create, your answers that you create, put them in order of how much of an impact you think these questions and the things that you're doing and not doing is actually impacting the results that you have. Think about that, guys. Self-awareness, self-assessments, so powerful. So guys, we have one last question, and I'm going to read it out. Where is it? Okay. And guys, if you have any further questions, please type them in. Oh my gosh, I can't find the question. Where are you, Karen? Here. Okay. So she wrote it to me and I'm like, I want to answer this one right now, but I'm going to wait. So the question is, guys, I feel like I'm in a cycle. I went through the learning, I have a trading plan, and I have been back testing. I have very good results on paper trading and demo, but every single time I go live, my bad habits are coming back. I become impatient, I get FOMO, and I don't respect my trading plan. So I've stepped back several times. I took a break from my trading and only focused on my trading psychology and personal development. Again, I spent a good month on demo. I went back to live yesterday, rushed into trades without confirmations. Any suggestions on what I should be doing to overcome this? Now, my first initial response to that is, what discipline actions do you have in your trading plan? Like, this also needs to be in your trading plan to give yourself when you do deviate from your trading plan. So, what are some discipline actions? Guys, it's always the adjectives like consistent trading, confident trading, profitable trading that we use to describe good fucking traders, right? They're the ones we want to become. Confident, profitable, consistent. But it's far less common to hear people say, I just want to be a disciplined trader. That's what I aspire to be. Okay, so I want you to look at other areas of your life, because literally what Rok said at the very start of this call, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Look at other areas of your life. Where else do you break your rules? Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're on a diet, do you eat a cookie and think, it's just one won't hurt? But guys, remember, with trading as well, it's not the thing you do once. It's the things that you do repeatedly, day in, day out, that have the biggest impact on you. So I'll hand it to Rok and then we'll go Zach.
I definitely agree, and there is already answer in the question. I was rushing in a trade. So the answer is going to be like, stop rushing it. Now, when it comes to the FOMO, right, I understand it. When you see market moving from your point of interest or whatever strategy you're using, right, it's fun to get an entry. I know, I understand, and going into the marketplace, but is it the risk to reward even worth of taking it in the first thing? Let's say, for example, if I would be getting, I don't know, potentially a movement that can only be 1 to 2, if I would get, let's say, a safety stop loss with a little bit bigger stop loss, that R&R is not, for me at least, it's not worth of taking it, right? But when it comes to, again, rushing it, there is always another re-entry. There is always another re-entry. So if I'm late in the marketplace, I see the market is going in a certain direction, I always go to the order flow technique and find out where the market is actually going to be rebalancing, where the market is going to be getting another set of orders in, right? Because again, we are fundamentally already in a place to not take every single market move in when it's going to happen. So we are fundamentally at the first zero level, already missing trades all day long, because there is no way that we can trade all the pairs, all the indexes, everything what we can trade in the marketplace every single second. So maybe you're trading majors, you're going to be missing an opportunities on exotics. Are you getting anxiety because of it? No. Right? So again, when you have your trades, when you have your favorite pairs, if it makes sense where you're going, where the market is going, wait for another confirmation. Market is going to give you another confirmation. Yeah, it sucks when you see market going in a certain level or a certain direction for hundreds and pips, and it's not even giving you the entry. I know it's hard to see that market, and then you go and study where the market shifted, and then you're seeing multiple opportunities, right? But you weren't in the marketplace at that time, right? So be it. Okay, cool. What is the next source of actions? What's the market going to do next? Because if you study Jordan said best, what grows fast, it won't last. Mark is going to retrace, mark is going to rebalance. So now we have two opportunities. If you are maybe more advanced, you're going to know when the market is going to be starting to come back down. Opportunity number one, you could be trading retracement. Opportunity number two, if you have structure confirming you the direction where the market can go, you can set up a new limit and wait for market to come to you. Right? So there is another price, literally another sets of actions that we can take all the time. It's just that awareness, what follows next, right? What follows next, right? So I think that's the biggest thing. And of course, why the people are rushing the marketplace, and I say it so many times in my session as well, because they're lacking to understand where the market is actually going. I will always give you the target on a daily time frame, weekly and monthly, so you have target by how the structure looks like several hundred pips away. So now we know that market is going to travel into that direction. We're just now going to be finding that re-entries along the way the market is actually going to flow to that target. We maybe miss the first three, and on the fourth one we jump in, and instead of 500 pips, we're only going to be catching 200. If the RNR is there, I'll take it. I'll take it, right? So again, the biggest thing what has to be, of course, in your trading plan, of course, is like assess where the market is going on a daily time frame. What are the bigger time frame targets that market is traveling into? Because that will give you that time of rethink, recalibrate, redecision, right? And then go in with another set of orders where that is going to be, of course, available for you. And not just going in because the market is giving you like 10 pip of push up. Oh, I'm late, jumping in. All right. So that's pretty much my answer.
Yeah, there's a lot of that I agree with as well, Rok. Again, very first thing that Rok said is, just stop doing it. Like, what are you doing? I can relate. I try and think back, my personal experience and everything, but like, I wish I had like a video recorder that allowed me to see, what I was like, but I don't, so I can't.
I've got charts from you from like 2017.
Yeah, charts wise, like, that's not really going to stop me from entering. My charts were cool in 2017. Let me be.
Like everything on them. It's like you're like indicator king.
I only had moving averages on my charts.
I'll send you fucking proof.
Yeah, go send it. There was only moving averages. I had an EMA and an MA. That was it. From memory, anyway. From memory. But yeah, I'd say, like, like, I'm trying. Look, what I'm trying to do, and I don't know who it is, but I'm trying to do my best to get my message across without sounding like an asshole. I'm really trying not to do that, and I'm not trying to be nasty. I'm not trying to sound or come across arrogant or anything like that. I'm definitely not. But what's the point of your trading plan? Why do you even have it? Why did you even make it? If you're gonna do everything on demo account, but when it comes to you going live, you're just gonna throw it all in the bin and not listen to your confirmation checklist, to your trading plan, to your journal, to yourself, a set of rules that I believe that you made for yourself. Like, why would you do that? I can't grasp it. So yeah. Like, I guess it does go back to the very first thing. How you do one thing is how you do everything. But to double take on that, or to double down on that, is your word is law. You don't fucking go against it. Like, there's got to be a line there that you draw in the sand and say, enough is enough. My word is law. I'm not going to go and, do this shit anymore. Like, if I want to become self-sufficient, if I want to get to a point where I'm, consistent, profitable, where I can, invest in other things, quit my job, have more time, have more freedom, do whatever it is, like, there's got to be a point where you say enough is fucking enough, and I'm not going to do that anymore. Like that, like for me anyway, like,
it's like the hot stove analogy. Like, how many times you have to burn yourself on a hot
I'm not.
stove?
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, again, not trying to sound nasty. I'm really, really not. I am trying to, I've thought long and hard on how to get this across. But yeah, set yourself a set of rules and don't deviate from them. Like, if you're not going to listen to you, I'd hate to see the circle. I'd hate to see, future relationships. You've got to be able to, be disciplined enough to, love yourself enough and nurture yourself enough to say, hey, Zach, when that happened last time, that didn't work out too well for you. 10 times before that, it didn't work out too well for you. Why the fuck do you keep doing it? Stop doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you feel like you need to have a set of rules, I don't know, maybe a book on top of your computer or your laptop or your keyboard every time you go into the charts, so that way you physically have to take the book off your keyboard or in order to look at the charts. That may allow you to have that in the forefront of your your conscious level of thinking. Have a reminder on your phone, alerts. If you're using MT5, you can do what Jenna does and various other people, on your charts. Stop being stupid. I don't, like, stop entering off of FOMO. Stop going against a trading plan. There's heaps of things, but I'm gonna sound like a broken record if I keep going. So I'll kind of leave it there.
I think this call has been pretty fucking epic. Hope you guys, this has been such a practical call. So I really appreciate both you, Rok and Zach, for sharing your wisdom with everyone on here tonight. Thank you all for staying the length. But Rok, do you have any final words to give?
Don't quit, because if you're gonna quit, you never know how far you can be successful in this industry and inside of the trade house. That's pretty much it.
I love it. It's interesting, like, it's conversations like this that, I've always loved observing the parallels between life and trading, and the risks that I learn about, even like the lessons I learn about risks and attitudes in trading have literally molded everything else in my life. And this is why these conversations matter, guys. Like I said, you're not going to get, if you need a hug from us, sure. But we ultimately, like, you're a part of this community to get results. That's why people join the trade house, full stop. What we have is incredibly special. It is really unique. And I genuinely hope that you guys all make and take the most advantage of this as you can. Like, you guys get direct access to, 6, 7, 8-figure traders, guys. Use this time so sacredly to ask the questions you need, to have the conversations that matter. Reach out to Rok on Instagram. I'm sure he'll reply to you. Reach out to Zach. Get on Rok sessions. We have the new schedule getting made. I think I just read before from Jenna. Get on these sessions. You are paying for world-class education that is so affordable. So go through those 5 self-assessment questions. See where you're at within your trading journey. Whatever topics you can't confidently speak about, you then know what to do. Zach, any final last words?
The only thing I'd say, guys, is, there's stuff that I still struggle with today. And, like, it just comes down to, don't be too hard on yourself. Okay, we're not born to be robotic and, have be the best at everything. Okay, be lenient. You're still going to do things wrong. I still do things wrong. I still do things that I shouldn't be doing, on the charts. You know, as long as you're kind of aware of it, just don't be too hard on yourself. Everything will work out as long as you stick to the plan.
100%. No such thing as perfect, guys, only progress, right? So show up daily, do what needs to be done. And guys, I will see you next week. Thank you again, Rok. Thank you, Zach. This call's been amazing. I appreciate you guys.